That escalated quickly. Hey Rabbits, Trixie here, and if you are currently learning German, you should have noticed by now that the German language has quite some really similar sounding words that mean something completely different. Most of the time that's not a big deal. You do it wrong, people tell you, and you try to remember next time. But then there are these cases where you really shouldn't confuse two really similar sounding words. And that's exactly the purpose of today's video. I want to present to you 10 German words that you should better not confuse, because the two words mean the opposite of each other or something really delicate that you may not want to get into. Hopefully knowing about these words is going to help you avoid very embarrassing situations. And for my German viewers, I think it's gonna be fun as well. The first two words I want to talk to you about are bereit and breit. You have to agree that they look pretty similar, and I bet you can imagine that it's easy for foreigners to confuse them. But you shouldn't. In a normal daily life context, bereit would mean something like ready, and breit would mean something like large. But breit has another meaning apart from large. It can also mean drunk. So if someone is waiting for you and asks, können wir jetzt gehen? Then make sure you say, ja, ich bin bereit, which means I am ready, instead of, ja, ich bin bereit, meaning that you are completely drunk. Next item on my agenda, versprechen and sich versprechen. Looks almost the same, right? Except the sich. Well, the tiny sich makes a huge difference here. While versprechen means to promise, sich versprechen means to make a speaking error, to say something in a wrong way. Just imagine the following situation. Aber Hans-Jürgen, hast du nicht gesagt, du möchtest mich heiraten? Ja, natürlich, das habe ich versprochen. Oh, da habe ich mich versprochen. See the problem? You either promised someone to marry him or her, or you made a speaking error and you didn't actually mean to propose. So versprechen and sich versprechen, know the difference. Next, I want to talk about the lovely word geil. This can have so many different meanings depending on what context you are in, and there are many things that you can do wrong. If you've been to the cinema and you really loved the movie that you have seen, you can say, boah, der Film war geil, with geil simply meaning something like awesome. Another situation would be that you see a really beautiful and sexy woman and you want to express that you are super attracted to her, but not really in a romantic, but more, you know, like in a horny kind of way. Then you could say, even though you shouldn't because it's kind of disgusting to talk about women like that, wow, die ist ja geil. Then, you know, geil means something like sexy, but not really in a positive way. The third way to use it would be referring to yourself, saying, oh, ich bin geil. Which does mean neither that you're awesome nor that you're sexy. It means that you are horny. For this reason, whenever you are about to use the tiny word geil, make sure you know what context you're in and whether it means awesome, sexy, or horny the way that you use it. Basically, to always be on the safe side, never use geil for a person. Next up, Unfasten and Angreifen. I know what you may be thinking, these ones don't really look like, but if you just take the fassen and the greifen, then these two words are actually synonyms. Fassen and greifen both mean something like to touch something or to grab something, but if you add the an in front of them, they completely change their meaning. While anfassen stays harmless and keeps the meaning of to touch, angreifen means to attack somebody. That escalated quickly. So if you meet a nice old lady with her dog on the street and you want to ask if you can touch and pet the dog, make sure you don't confuse anfassen and angreifen. Oh, der Hund ist ja süß. Darf ich den mal anfassen? Aber natürlich, streicheln Sie ihn ruhig. Der ist ganz lieb. Oh, der Hund ist ja süß. Darf ich den angreifen? Oh, was erlauben Sie sich? Wuffi, was? Braver Hund. Nicht mit mir, Freundchen, nicht mit mir. Another two words that you shouldn't confuse, entspannen and spannen. I was recently talking to a friend of mine and I was asking her what she's doing. What she said was, ach, nichts Besonderes, ich spanne, wie immer. What she meant was, ich entspanne, wie immer. But spannen doesn't mean the same thing. You see, entspannen means to relax, but spannen is the activity that a voyeur does. You know, peeking through a keyhole to see some woman naked? That's spannen. And I guess and hope that was not what she was doing at that moment. The next two words are words that I remember from my childhood. It's Killin and Killin. As you can see, except for one letter, the R, they are exactly the same. Killin, however, is a slang word for to kill, while Killin simply means to tickle somebody. So if you're about to warn a friend that you are about to tickle her, please don't say, hey Melissa, ich werde dich jetzt killen. Because that's basically a death threat and it's going to scare the shit out of her. Instead say, hey Melissa, ich werde dich jetzt killen. Much better. And why is this a memory from my childhood? Well, there was this movie called Killer-Tomaten, which I wanted to see with my mother. And I expected this movie to be about tomatoes tickling people, when it was actually about tomatoes killing people. To be fair, both plots sound equally ridiculous and most likely the tickling tomatoes would have been a better success. Let's continue with satt sein and satt haben. If you've just finished an awesome meal and you are full, you can say ich bin satt, because satt sein simply means you're satisfied, you're full. Etwas satt haben or etwas satt sein, however, means that you're fed up by something, that you're annoyed by it. So if German granny offers you another serving of awesome sweet potatoes, never say, nein, danke Oma, ich habe es satt. Aber Kindchen, ich wollte dir doch eine Freude machen mit meinen wunderschönen Süßkartoffeln. Instead, the right thing to say is of course. Nein, Oma, ich bin's. Ja, Oma, gerne noch eine oder zwei Kartoffeln. The next word pair should be a classic by now. I'm talking about schwül and schwul. The only difference being the two dots over the U. Schwül can be used on a hot, humid summer day because it means muggy. And I know that the U is difficult to pronounce for many foreigners, but in this case, you really shouldn't mix up these two words. Because if you say schwul instead of schwül, you refer to the weather as gay. The following two words are pretty similar to the topic of the ones before. I'm talking about die Tante and die Tunte. Again, just one letter making a big difference. You may have heard the word Tante already, because it simply means aunt. So if you visit your aunt in Germany, please make sure to call her Tante and not Tunte. Why, you ask? Well, because Tunte is a pretty offensive German slang word for a gay person that acts rather feminine. So you better don't confuse it with Tante and please just don't use it at all, okay? I kept my personal favorite for last because it's simply incredible. It's two words that look exactly the same but can mean the opposite of each other depending on how you pronounce it. What I'm speaking about are the two German verbs umfahren and umfahren. Let me just demonstrate the madness with a little acting performance. Schatz, pass auf, da vorne ist ein Fußgänger auf der Straße. Oh, danke, ich werde ihn umfahren. No harm done so far. Let's translate this to English. Honey, look, there's a pedestrian on the street. Thank you, darling, I'll drive around him. Schatz, pass auf, da vorne ist ein Fußgänger auf der Straße. Oh, danke, ich werde ihn umfahren. Did this sound similar to you? Like almost the same wording as in the first example? Well, here is what it means in English. Honey, look, there's a pedestrian on the street. Oh, thank you, darling. I'll run him over. You heard right. Umfahren or umfahren can mean to drive around somebody or something, or to run something or somebody over. It's the exact same word, but it can make a murderer out of a normal driver and decide between life and death. Why? because German. Alright rabbits, I really hope that you enjoyed today's video and that you maybe even learned 1 or 2 new things. Please don't confuse the words I just presented to you, and then you should be on the safe side. Which of these weird word twins surprised you the most? What other German words or words of another language have you confused already, which may have gotten you into a weird situation? Let the world know in the comments down below, and please leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, because that would make me really happy. If you want to watch another video of Don't Trust the Rabbit, you can find one right here. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, or even support me on Patreon, which would be a great help for the channel. Now I wish you all a very beautiful day. Check out my other videos if you'd like to, and hopefully we're gonna see each other in my next video. Bye!